guys. Okay, so I'm here with my friend Holly. You may have heard me mention her a few times in basically every single one of my videos. And I'm out here in Western Virginia visiting her and basically wanted to do something with her to demonstrate our relationship, what we've gone through, and kind of why we've developed this closeness. So basically, a little background on our friendship is I've only known her for about a month, and I feel like we've known each other for like years. But basically, when Jordan and I split, she reached out to me. She knew that I was going through a lot spiritually, mentally, and just like needed some guidance. And so she asked Jordan for my number and she texted me. And it kind of caught me off guard, but I was so desperate for some sort of not guiding light, but just like somebody to talk to about everything I was going through because I literally didn't have any friends that were like physical that I could just be like, Jesus, you know? And so we just started texting. And so I guess the theme of this video is I just want to show you guys how deep relationships can get and how fast they can get when they're developed off faith and love and support and just really wanting to be there for each other. Because I mean, since I've started this about a month ago, Memorial Day, so like 2 more days it'll be a month that I've been saved. The people that I've met through church, through just talking about this, I mean, I already feel closer to them than I have people I've known for years. So that's just a little bit of background. So I'm gonna let Holly talk about herself, tell you kind of where she comes from, where she stands in her faith, and just go.
Okay. So I grew up in church in a very strong Christian home. My dad has been a minister since I was basically an infant, and my mom has worked alongside him. Two of the best Christians I know and could ever hope to know. My dad's one of the most talented preachers, speakers that I've ever met, probably the most talented, and I'm biased, but I grew up with a really strong foundation. I got saved very young. My journey wasn't perfect though. As a teenager, I struggled with a lot of different issues. I backslid a lot. I rebelled quite a bit, but I knew I'd always come back. I always knew that God was just what was holding me together at all. So I knew that God was home always, even in my rebellion. I knew that. So as an adult, I became an educator. My husband is a farmer and an educator as well. He does both. He works very hard. And we were just, I guess we got married pretty young. I was 21. So I guess I was just trying to figure out how to do this adult thing and be a Christian, and I thought, I still am. But I guess I thought it meant like just going to church and being active in the church. And after we had our first child, which we never planned to have kids, so we didn't know what we were doing. It was like,
Y'all didn't want kids?
We never thought we were going to have children.
Oh.
Yeah. We'd never either one ever been around kids much, so we didn't think we wanted children just because we were so selfish. I mean, if I'm being honest, we were colossally selfish, and we thought a baby would like mess things up. So, when I had my daughter, my oldest daughter Riley, I worshipped her like because she was my job. Jesus gave her to me, and I acknowledged that. And I took on a lot of pressure, and he really worked with me through some details that I won't get into, but like some scary illnesses and stuff. And really, he was just like, she is mine, you are mine, everything is mine, and you just need to chill out. And my faith has grown deeper and deeper since that moment of my life. And so we just kind of gradually started wanting to do more for God. And my dad actually moved back to our area as a missionary and planted a church. And we got on board. I mean, we just really wanted to be part of the beginning of something different, something relevant, something hopeful in our county where jobs have been lost and poverty is skyrocketing and all of that. We wanted to be part of something positive. So now, I sing on the praise team, but we work with the youth. And because we're educators, because we are around students a lot, it really kind of interconnected student ministries because we're building, like student-teacher relationships at school, and then they come to church and they see us and we're a face that they trust already. And then vice versa. Sometimes they meet us at church and then they go to school and they just know that there's positivity there. So that is really our passion, is like working with young kids. And we've both been through a lot. We've both battled our own demons. So we come from a place where like a lot of the students we work with can really just like relate to. And Jordan is one of my former students, but he was also the little brother of one of my best friends growing up and in high school. I think I met Vanessa in the 5th grade. I just moved to Virginia, and he was always just this cute little, he was perfect and Jordan. So but I was his teacher, and he had been through a lot with some health issues in high school and stuff. So I kind of just stayed connected. Like when he added me on Facebook, I was like, Jordan, yeah. And I would like send him messages and just encourage him, because he is such a strong, stable Christian young man that it's just really awesome to see that. And I always wanted to encourage that. And so through Jordan, I saw Sarah. He was talking about his girlfriend. She was awesome and amazing. And I would send him messages and encourage him, and he would write back and be like, "Oh, Sarah, she's the end.
Shut
she's the
up.
all. She's
Shut
everything."
up.
So I was like, awesome. So I started following. I added her on Facebook. I started watching her YouTube videos, because in January of this year, I got really scared for my own health, and I really just started a health journey. Like, I got to take care of this temple, that God has given me. Like, I want it to be strong. I want my kids to see strong and strength. Yeah, I'm not going to show you mine. But I wanted to do that. So I started following her YouTube videos when they were fitness.
Back in the day when I liked fitness still.
So I started watching her videos, and I kind of felt like I knew her because it was online and it was kind of weird, one-sided thing. But I watched one of her videos one day at work during planning, when it was okay, and she was talking about like she enjoyed it. She doesn't even remember the video, and I was like, it's pivotal to my life. Like,
I pump these things out like it's candy now, Pez machine.
So I was like, oh my gosh, because she said that she and Jordan broke up and she was just not sure where she was in her faith and like so many things. And I was like, I need to reach out. So I tried to comment actually, but I don't have a YouTube account, so I can only stalk you.
I like shut down. Like when Jordan and I broke up, I retreated. I got away from social media. I shut down my Facebook, my Instagram. I like went into retreat. And she like, it was almost like I said, like I just randomly got this text and I was just like, you know what? I'm going with it. Yeah. But like, okay, so what was the biggest thing that like made you want to reach out to me, other than like you had been watching me and you felt like you knew a little bit of my life? But like, because there's a lot of people who do this. Like, is that just your nature, just to always reach out to people? And
yeah, I think I'm just like in my soul, like God has really, he gives me burdens for people, and my gift is encouragement. Like, I'm an encourager. That's why like I'm so drawn to like student ministries, because those are people that at the age in their life they really need encouragement. And so I watched the video and I was like, I just need to send just a word of encouragement. Like, it was never meant to be like a best friend relationship.
Yeah.
And I actually, like, I tried to comment and I didn't have an account. I was like, I'm not creating an account. That's crazy. I'll just hit her up on Facebook, and then like you had shut it down. So I sent Jordan a message, and the intention was just to be like, hey Jordan, tell Sarah that I'm praying for her next time you talk to her. And he sent back, he's like, here's her number, she won't mind. I was like, what? I'm like, you don't just like text a stranger.
Jordan likes to give my number out to strangers. Thanks.
It worked out. So I sent the text, and I just wanted you to know.
Yeah. You
didn't know me, I didn't really know you. I'm praying for you.
And the funny thing is, okay, so when I got the message, this is something I always laugh about. I thought she was like a 60-year-old lady, because Jordan calls her Miss Dean, and because she was his teacher, and she's like my age. And so, with talking, I was like, yes, ma'am, like trying to.
You were just super southern.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I mean, I'm polite, but I'm, you know what I mean? And then I was like, tell me about yourself. She was like, and when she told me her age, I was like, what? I was like, oh, dude, come on now. Like, drop the man, change it to dude. Now, it was like whatever from there. But being on the receiving end of that, like, so if you're somebody and you know that there's, by the way, I don't know where to look when she's talking. I'm just like, but anyways.
I keep doing a weird thing with the one eye.
Well, you can just stare at him. But anyways, so being on the receiving end of that, like, So if you're somebody and you're sitting there and you have a buddy who's going through something and you don't know what to do, what to say to them, like maybe you believe in God and you like to, you like to think that you walk, your life for God and whatnot, but you don't feel compelled to reach out. I mean, do it anyways, because okay, if you go back to my saved video, and I'm not going to say like she's the reason I found God. I found God because God was like, you're coming with me, kind of thing. But I had texted her that morning for whatever reason. At that point, we had only talked for maybe like 4 days.
Yeah, a couple days.
And out of everybody I knew, for some reason, I was just like, hey, Holly, I don't want to go. Maybe it was because I didn't think she would be blunt with me, or you know what I mean,
looking for an answer.
But I did not want to go to church that morning, and it ended up being the day that I found God. And I always, in that video, you'll hear me say like, that was her purpose, 100% was to bring me that day to God. Right. Whether that be, obviously our friendship grew from that, but it just goes to show you never know. I mean, she didn't even say anything crazy. She basically was like, yeah, we all have bad days. Go anyways. Yeah. Like that's literally all she said. So you never know how small of what you say, how it could impact somebody. I mean, like I have a lot of friends who come to me for fitness advice. I don't know, I'm, just trying to get through the dieting and exercising world. It sucks.
So hard.
It is. It sucks. But things that I feel are very, I don't know, things that I tell myself every day. You say it to someone, and if they've never heard it, it's like a revelation. And it just, I don't know. Like I still sometimes sit down and think, like the fact that I'm sitting in her parents' kitchen is like,
thanks, Mom.
It's hilarious because I don't know. It came out of nowhere, left field, and it's just, I don't know. I think it just goes to show you that while God's putting you through whatever He's putting you through, during the time you may not understand it, but like it clicks one day. Like when, I don't remember what day it was. I think it was just the day that Jordan and I got back together and like reconciled. Like I stopped for a minute after we got off the phone and I was just like, what? Like I put all of the events that had happened over the past, gosh, it's been 2 months now.
Feels like a year though. Like it's a long journey.
It feels like forever. And it feels, everything makes sense. Everything. And divine intervention is something nuts. Like I learned in my devotional class, how did they word it? It was like unimportant people and unimportant tasks is an interrupted life. But an important person with an important task is divine intervention. And I feel like, well, she's very important. You know what I mean? And I think that was just God being like, maybe she didn't know it, but gave her the conviction in her heart to reach out to me. And I have felt that too. Like since I've come to Christ and whatnot, I've had this conviction to do so many different things, and I just go with it. I quit thinking about it. I reconciled a relationship with my stepdad. I had hated him for like since I was 14, and I mean hated him. And one day I was just like, I just felt in my heart, go forgive Frank. And I was like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? And it's been great ever since. Do you think that, what are your, I remember your dad had asked me, he was like, what's your plan to try to, do things? Like currently right now where you are in church, do you actively seek out youth, or is it, how does that work for you? With trying to touch youth and not touch youth, but, be around it and change the lives of people?
Well, I want to add a few things kind of back. I felt compelled before by the Holy Spirit to reach out to people before, and sometimes I've done it, sometimes I haven't, and sometimes it's just fallen flat. But my encouragement to you guys is if you feel like God is telling you, reach out to this person. I had never texted a stranger. Let's just throw that out there. I'm a random acts of kindness girl, be kind to all the cashiers and stuff. But I had never texted a stranger before. It was very awkward for me, but I just felt so strongly that someone needed to reach out. And I couldn't depend on someone else to reach out if God's telling me to reach out. So I did. And
you're fine. You can.
When you can do what you need to do. There was something else that you had said that I was gonna kind of add to that. Like, oh yeah, like when Jordan was like, just text her, I was like, oh, that's kind of awkward. But I knew immediately, like a few texts in, I was like, you know, like you just like connect with some people in life. And when she texted me, she's like, I really don't want to go to church. Part of like a people pleasing side of me wanted to be like, it's okay, just snuggle in your bed and watch a Jesus movie, it'll be fun. But in my heart, I was like, get your butt up and go.
She didn't know. Also, I was dissolving when I mean, like, like I was a mess. So.
I do know though that like just growing up and the way my dad is and my mom is, there it's like sometimes I would be like, I don't feel good, I don't want to go to church. They're like, go to church.
Jesus will heal you.
Yeah, it wasn't an option. So like I knew that sometimes when the biggest revelations happen in my spiritual life, it's when I don't feel like doing it. When I don't feel like hosting youth group, or when I don't feel like going to church or being at a certain meeting, or you know, whatever it is, like, because Satan will try to keep us from those moments where we are most vulnerable to like just handing it over. So part of me wanted to like keep my new friend by being sweet and saying it's okay, but then part of me was like, no, it's not the way, it's not what you should do.
Yeah.
So be honest. Be like, this is what's right and this is what's wrong. And the great thing about us is like we skipped that polite stage of friendship, but I guess because we were like texting and online and stuff, and we just got real, like first things first.
Well, if you know me, if you've ever had a conversation with me in real life, I don't play. Like I'm not one to, I don't cater to emotions. And that's, and one thing that I do work on is the delivery of how I feel, because I'm blunt. Like, if you ask me a question, you are getting the answer. And that's one thing that I think I'm kind of blessed with as far as, like, me talking about things. Now, my mom called me, and she's like, Sarah, I want you to remember, you have future employers, so be careful. You know, but, so there's definitely a level of, like, all right, maybe I shouldn't share that. But I appreciated that in her, because I would come, and I would ask, like, a question, be like, what's, you know, what, X, Y, Z? And she'd be like, well, XYZ, I'd be like, word. You know, not, like, it wouldn't be like we didn't dance around any issues. And I would ask her some straight up stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I mean, Jordan and I are going to make a video. We're going to talk about kind of our testimony. I'm so excited to hear Jordan talk on a video. It's going to be great.
I'm scared to hear my voice on video.
No, you sound
She
fine.
says I have an accent, guys. What?
These are some country folk. But anyways, and that was just one thing that I appreciated. And while sometimes you saying the truth may at that time bother them or upset them, they're gonna be okay. Because I mean, depending on the situation, typically the truth will set you free. And while, like, my dad, I'm so bad at not so bad at talking to him. I come to him when I need to be slapped in the mouth, because that's the kind of advice he gives you. I talked about that in my last video. And that's how I like to be, because I can't even tell you how many times I've just cried silently on the phone while he's giving me advice. But I walk away from that and I'm like, all right. You know, and you move on. And if that person is meant to be in your life, and there's somebody who legitimately needs you and stuff like that, they'll appreciate it, you know. You just you can't be nervous, you know. I mean, that's such a big thing with Christianity, is that you can't fear what God has sent you to do. You just have to trust. And you just have to put it on Him, and you just have to know that as long as you're doing the right thing and you're following you know, you're living, you know, to be like more like, you know, God-like every day. And as long as you're being a good person, and as long as all your intentions are pure, you're not going to go wrong. That's just a fact. Like, you can't. I mean, things will happen, and you may feel like you're being wronged in certain situations and things like that, but that's just the way it is.
But I never answered like our plan. Like so, Adam and I, we work as a team. We work very well together. He's very quiet and reserved, and here I am. So, like our plan right now is actually we've been kind of reworking and trying different ways to do youth ministry in our church along with our pastor, and we have a team that we're on. It's not just the two of us, but a larger team, and we've just finished like one session, and then we're going to come back together and just like troubleshoot, see what went well, see what didn't work so well, and kind of rework it. And just like in our spiritual life, sometimes you sit down and you're like, okay, God, this is going really well, but this kind of sucks. So how do we like rework this part and keep this going well? And it's just kind of how ministry is. And you sit down and you surround yourself with Christian people, with people who are stronger in their faith than you. Keep finding those people who are weaker, so that you can be a mentor. You know, like you just immerse yourself in Jesus culture, if we can use that term. And not to exclude anyone else. I'm friends with all kinds of people, but because God is why I'm here. I am alive, not to be a wife, mother, librarian, or what have you. I am here to be a child of God. My purpose. God.
Amen, sister.
So God gave me a husband and children and a job and all these things, and that's to use them for His glory. So in our ministry right now, we're just trying to take it to the next level. She's from the city. I'm from the country. Like, she thinks she's in the country now, and I think I'm in the city now.
She told me when I was supposed to go to her house, she was like, I'm going to have to meet you at a store because GPS and satellite cannot find my house. And I'm like,
it'll dump you on a back road. Ask UPS.
Ask UPS. So, all right. Well, we're about, what are we at, 21 minutes. So, but yeah, this is our last time I'm going to be hanging out, so hopefully we can make other videos and stuff like that, because I definitely, like, especially with her dad, I definitely want to try to utilize him to figure out a way to, I don't know, get more involved. Where I'm at right now is kind of temporary. Once Jordan graduates, we're out of Hampton Roads, hopefully. But so who knows where we're going to land, but all I know is that...
Closer to me.
I hope so. I hope so. But anyways, all I know is that I think that I'm being called to some sort of something like that, youth, ministering to youth, and it's just, that's one of those things when I stop and I think about it, I'm like, what? You know? Because you'd have asked me that 6 months ago, and I'd be like, you're out of your mind, you know? And that just goes to show you, really, once God dips his hand in you, it's all, I mean, you don't know. It's all out of your hands. So you just kind of got to go with it. So thank you for not being shy. And, yeah, so I hope you guys, what is today? Saturday? So I'll probably make a video tomorrow when I get home, because I'm going to her parents' church. I'm really excited. And I always make a video after.
Never been. It's our first time there together.
Yeah, we got some cute dresses. So anyways, but you guys have
praise some Jesus.
Hallelujah.
Unashamed.
Hallelujah. So, anyways, you guys have a great day, great Saturday, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.